whenever I say all of these things about self-care and community and mentoring, and it's really easy for all of us to go, we've heard this a million times. We've heard mentoring, self-care, give back, try harder, do more, right? Like I think we've all heard that a million times, and that makes us take this like deep sigh and just go, I just don't want to do anything anymore. Isn't there a better answer? And, whenever I'm sharing all of those things, I really feel like, whoever's listening, you know, something comes to mind for every single person when you hear a talk like this, and something comes to your mind, and you know exactly what it is. And it's the one thing that you've been telling yourself that you want to get back to. It's the one thing that you're like, you get to the end of the day and you're like, man, I still didn't give myself time for that, whatever it is. Or I've been saying that I want to eat better, and why don't, and now I'm thinking about it again, like it's something that I want to do. Why can't I do it? Right? There's always something that comes to your mind. And so while I could say just try harder for self-care, I can honestly say it's different for each person. Every person listening right now, you know what that one thing is in your life that you know you need to be doing, and you just haven't done it yet. And it could be as small as I said I would take a nap every day at 1 o'clock when the kids nap, and I just need to do it, right? Or I've been saying that I need to get my food under control and I just haven't done it. Or I said that I wanted to train for that half marathon. Why haven't I done it yet, right? Like there's something that's going through your mind right now. And I can't be the one that tells you, you know what, everybody should train for a half marathon, because not everybody's in that place. And I can't say everybody should strive for purpose by going back to school or working on a career, because it may not be the right season for you. And so, whatever that one thing is that's going through your mind, it may be, you know what, I've been saying that my husband and I should get into counseling, and I just haven't booked the session. You know what that one thing is that's going through your mind. And I think that's the simple start that, we bring it back to, we have huge control issues as spouses, because at the end of the day, when it's on a deployment or when you're going through PCS, you feel like you need to control everything in order to stay sane. And there's some element of that that's true. But what happens is we control everything else, and we take care of everyone else, and we're not taking care of ourselves. And so it does have to start there. And the only reason why we keep saying self-care, mentoring, give back to your community is because we're not doing a good enough job at it. There's something about us saying it again and again and again should say the reason why we keep bringing it up is because we have not learned how to do it yet. So that's number one. You have control of yourself. You may not have control over anything else or anyone else, but you do have control over your reaction and your response to the uncertainty and the chaos that is either in your home or outside of it. You have control in your ability to set healthy boundaries with your kids, control in your healthy boundaries with your spouse, which, yes, healthy marriages require healthy boundaries. You also have control over your reaction to social media or to your neighbor or to the military or to what you feel like the military is saying to you. You have control over yourself. And it starts there. Think about the bullseye of it starting there. So I think the call to action to spouses out there is to, if you are exhausted, if you are resentful, if you are anxious, if you are struggling right now, what is the one thing that you can do right now, today, that can start to alleviate some of that stress? I left my career of 20 years this year because I realized, you know what? It's time for a change. It's time to do something different. And when I gave myself margin, which is what I needed in my life, I needed space to rest. I needed space to see what kind of coping skills I had left. When I created that margin, wonderful things came after that. We often are so scared to create the margin that there's going to be nothing there when we get there. Sometimes nothing is a good thing. Sometimes nothing is a good thing. Space and rest is a good thing. So I understand that, like, it might feel like a big thing. It might be a little thing, or it might be a huge thing, is that next thing that you need to do to take care of yourself. But I promise it's worth it. And then I would say the call to action to our culture is that we've got to, here's the thing, social media isn't working anymore. It has its benefits, but social media and connecting digitally only goes so far. And I think the call to action for our culture is it's time to socially distance, but also knock on each other's doors again. right? Like I know that makes you uncomfortable because we're social distancing everything, but there's something about face to face. We've got to bring it back. And we're all ready for it. We're all craving it. And I promise community and just having a conversation in your front yard is going to mean everything to you at the end of that day. And our culture needs to come back to that face to face. And then if I can give one other call to action as a military force, as a culture of taking care of our military families and our military service members. You're right, Jessica, the suicide rates are going up, the divorce rates are going up, the stress level is going up, the burnout is going up. People aren't doing well across the board. Our leaders, a lot of our leaders are not doing well. You know, we put a lot of pressure on our leaders to still stay strong and lead well. And they're also going through COVID. They're also going through family stress. And so from a human perspective, if human beings are not doing well right now, then that means our leaders aren't doing well either. And so we need to get to a place where we go, if we're all not doing well, there's some changes that we can make to the system. And maybe that takes priority for a little while. If we're going to scale back on our military presence, if that's what's going to happen, then let's not just scale back and just sit and wait for the next war or sit and wait for the next posturing that needs to happen. If we need to do a little bit of that, then maybe we also devote some of our energy to some self-care in the military force as well. And there's no shame in that. Warriors for generations, for thousands of years, came back to the village to take care of themselves and their families before they were sent back out to battle. And so we've got to get back to taking care of our warriors makes for a stronger force. And that includes making sure that your village is a healthy village to come home to. So there's a lot more that we can be doing for TRICARE, for our benefits, finding those culturally competent professionals that are taking care of, because that's also part of the village doctor needs to be well, right? Your village mentors and leaders need to be doing well. And so taking care of our military force isn't just about taking care of the warriors if they come home to a sick village. So if there was anything that I could say to just our DoD and our leaders at the highest levels, we've got to take ownership of the village that we are protecting. It's not just about protecting the village. You have to have some ownership of the village itself in order to have it be worth protecting in the first place. So call to action, take a look at yourself first. And then once I hate the metaphor, but put the oxygen mask on yourself, take care of yourself so that you have the energy to see who's actually sitting next to you.